carry on. We should talk, 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 carry on.
Hey, everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent Tartarians. Recent Tartarians.
And we've made it. Welcome to the show. I'm Andreas. This is NEUROPA. With me is Raphael. How are you doing, Raph?
Hi, everyone. Doing great.
And Martin back to Triumph. Good to see you again. How's it been, Martin? And we have a very special guest today, as well as, I believe, his son. Is that correct? I think so. Haneen Abdellaziz. Did I get that right? I want to say it right. I don't want to say it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, there's a lot of ways we can describe him. Perhaps the weatherman, the rainmaker, you know, an engineer, and someone after Wilhelm Reich's own heart. Very interesting stuff you're working on. So I'll give just like the most simple introduction from my perspective of it, and then you can tell us what's really going on. How about something like that? But let me see if I pull up this video here, which is how I kind of was introduced to your work. This video here is talking about Wilhelm Reich's weather cannon here, and then showing the idea, hey, everyone's saying, hey, Wilhelm Reich doesn't exist anymore, all the work is lost, and he had some sort of ability to maybe change the weather to help in the desert, but that's all gone now. What do we know about it? But no, actually, here's a guy who's actually been looking into this and has figured out how to actually build some of the stuff to make rain in the desert. Is that kind of correct? Do I have kind of the point of what's going on? Yes?
Aber alles, was gesagt hat, genauso verstanden hat.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah? Okay, cool. Well, maybe tell us from your perspective who you are and what you work on.
Also vielleicht kannst du aus deiner Perspektive sagen, wer du bist und woran du gerade arbeitest.
Ich bin ein Mensch, genauso wie er, und ich benutze auch die Du-Sprache, die seelische Sprache, wie Helmut Kohl damals dem japanischen Kaiser gesagt hat, you can say you to me. In Englisch ist diese nicht einfach you, sie und du, verstehst du? Wir sind alle seelisch irgendwie verbunden. Ich habe hier in Berlin studiert damals, Elektrotechnik, dann Informatik, dann habe ich KI einfach als Abschlussfach, künstliche Intelligenz, dann war ich Projektmanager bei VW, bei Fraunhofer, und ich habe so eine Laufbahn gemacht, die mir nicht gefallen hat. Einfach, ich hatte nur mit Computer zu tun. Es war so schlimm, weil ich viel für die Firma verreisen wollte und so. Dann habe ich gesagt, okay, ich höre damit auf. Ich mache was anderes, wo ich dann zurückkomme und nicht mehr so viel verreise.
Vielleicht erlauben wir Haneen zu übersetzen zwischendurch.
Das ist auch jetzt ein bisschen viel auf einmal alles zu übersetzen, aber willst du es vielleicht nochmal auf Englisch probieren?
Yes, I study at the University from Berlin, computer sciences. I made my diploma in artificial intelligence. I was manager by Volkswagen and worked by Fraunhofer, you know, MP4 and MP3 and so research there in Germany. And at last, it was a lot for me to work with only computers, and my heart, my, wie sagt man, spiritual thinking.
Geist, you can say Geist. Geist is acceptable.
Geist, yeah, was not compatible with my work, and I decided to finish with this. And there was in 1949 in the south from Algeria. It was a terrible accident. A lot of people dies, and I only survived to this crash from helicopter. And one Tuareg comes at this time, says to me, "You don't die, but why the Wüste,
The desert.
the desert is braucht mich."
So the tour kind of asked and told him, you know, the desert still needs you, so you didn't die in the helicopter crash.
Voilà. And at this time, it was for me all this new about Rehn, Wilhelm Reich, and so. And so I learned James de Meo, Bernd Senf, the great people on this way. They taught me and opened me the way for this work. And since this time, I am always developing myself and with another features, with another discoveries. Yeah.
So how did you, the idea of changing the weather seems so impossible. How did you decide it was possible?
It was not possible the first time. I come from the computer sciences, and for me, weather and so. But I was open to all these sciences. Was not becoming at the school. On the school, I made always the opposite from
Right.
that was the teacher me saying. I arena myself, it was a lecture about building motors, generators, and it was the talking about Edison, very little about Tesla, and as I hear Tesla, it was becomes in me, but Edison now. And I was alone in my realm. I had all the components from a generator, you know, small battery, and. And I wanted to see of the theory is auch in the practice. And as I finish 3 hours after I finish the montage, und es dreht sich, es ist rotting, yeah. Und I cry, hey, Tesla, so function. It was in the school.
So when did you hear about when did you hear about Wilhelm Reich and his weather changing work?
Wilhelm Reich, if you want, I say you sincerely, the first time when I heard Wilhelm Reich, I was in Freiburg and learned in Goethe Institute the German language. After this, I must to Amberg, go to Amberg to make a practice before I go to the uni. Amberg is in West Germany at this time. It was the wall in Berlin. And I looked for a quarter for me the first time. Siemens gave me one flat, but it was small. And in the Siemens community, the workers, I tell it, I am looking for a flat room. And one old man said to me, I have a flat, you can come to me next time, Sunday, we take a breakfast together. And I was Sundays now. And I sat down, I sat on the dish in the kitchen, and I heard the upstairs to the first floor, a maiden, a girl is coming, a very young girl, his daughter, and naked coming. It was 1972. It's a long time. Huh? Und I didn't say anything. 5 minutes later comes their brother, Harald, coming the stairs down, also naked. And they take breakfast with us. And the father were very angry, but he has nothing to say. Huh? And Harald and Sigrid, the sister, we have a very, very good conversation together. We was in a resonance. And he said, Harald, I respect you, but what you make here naked, your family, and please tell me what's going on here. I don't understand the word. He looked me direct in my eyes and said to me, do you know about Wilhelm Reich? That's why it was the first time I heard about Wilhelm Reich, and he declared me about this 19 evolution, also Woodstock and free sex, free love. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it wasn't your first association to like weather machines. That wasn't the first place you thought about it, not Wilhelm Reich.
Yes, the first time we planned to make in North Africa, Europe is Orgon OP is the name from this operation, desert cleaning, with Demeo. It was at this time very bad in Algeria with the Islams and with terrorism, and so that Demeo cancelled this operation. But I had activated viele contacts in Algeria. And es come together with minister, with another scientist people. And I couldn't say Demeo is nicht coming. I am coming to Algeria and I explain you. I was in Algeria. And with 25 scientists, the best from Algeria and the minister, I make a show, a data show about desert greening, not from me, from Demeo, from Bernd Senf, Operationen in Namibia, Walker über Wilhelm Reich, all these techniques. After 4 hours, you know, at this time we had we don't have internet, we don't have CD, we had it VHS cassettes.
VHS tapes.
Oh, and the minister is coming to me, said, Abdellaziz, these people after 4 hours, they don't understand what you say. I was like, yes, it's very difficult, Herr Minister. The organ physics, they must learn about it. Please, I can give you a small example. You have a television with color and you have a television black and white. Can you imagine does the television, color television, can explain the color to the black and white television? Can say, yeah, yellow is X epsilon from dark plus half dark, you know, it's impossible. He looked at me from all these people and said, hey, Abdellaziz, you mean you are a color television and all these people are black and white? And so we met in Algeria by Tlemcen. The first operation, Demeo konnte nicht kommen, didn't come. And the minister said to me, you explain it good. Can't you make this operation yourself? I say really, I wanted to say, also 9 without me, but out me come the difference. Yes, I make it, you know. And so we made the operation. It was very, very successful. The rain came 1999 in Tlemcen, yeah. And after that, come under a project in India, in China, in Iran, in Namibia, in Portugal. Yeah, we have met in Dubai, and the rain is always coming.
Wow.
I don't say this method exists or not exists, but I know is I think you must understand. You must work not from the mind. You must in a tunnel. You must go in a tunnel. You must from heart. You must forget yourself. You know, when you work. It's my aim. When I work, I am another person. You know, I understand all this. All this is in this time, in this moment, not focusing. It's happening, or it was, or I was 100% sure that is happening. Verstehst du? Es ist wie in einem Transzustand.
It's like in a transcendent.
Yeah. You don't have Ängste, anxieties. You don't have anything. The last time I was in Iran, I worked with the 4 universities. That were all the people, university, service, secret, military, scientists, all they were there. And they say, manche haben gesagt, also,
some people said
it is not, it's charlatanerie.
Some people said it's a hoax.
It's a hoax. Some people said, I don't. I see the person is stable, is not afraid. What he said had sense. And I started the operation. There were 2 mullahs with a turban coming from high-end station and to look while they have the monies and they must agree. And as they come over the cloudbuster on the sky is a cloud formation coming. We haven't built a picture. And this cloud formation likes Allah of Arabic.
Wow.
Writing Allah. We believe this person.
And I'll just interject one very brief example here. So we've been at this conference in Switzerland we spoke about before, Andreas, Alternative Economic Forum Conference. And there was a guy who was running from Germany or France for peace, just for peace. And he just kept running every day. And then he even ran, I think, 2 marathons in one day, just so he could arrive at this alternative economic conference, which was, of course, great and very good vibe. And then they said, okay, let's gather outside. Let's make a heart. So when he arrives, we can greet him and congratulate and be so happy that this all worked out, because just a week before, this guy didn't even know that the event was happening. And then so we make this hug, and there was a drone, I think, taking pictures too. And then later in the afternoon, they show and they say, like, look, guys, you see what happened? And they show the sky, and it literally made a cloud the shape of a heart.
Yes.
So yes.
Well, the American rain dancing, which is a thing that a lot of the native tribes do, relies on this idea also of having critical mass, having a certain amount of people if you don't have the technology. But it sounds pretty interesting the system you're talking about, you're calling it cloudbusting, which is very similar, at least to how similar is it, you think, to Wilhelm Reich's design, or is this completely a new thing? I mean, and try to explain for people who don't understand this, how this could work, how your cloudbuster could work.
The first time I gave a very good explication. It was in China with Hanin. He speaks very good Chinese, and I was invited to the great desert university, desert greening university from China. And I said, this method is like acupuncture. Is acupuncture. The Chinese, they know about acupuncture, yes. And what I make is that the organism, Earth, is a Gaia principle. Lovelock explained this. And Hermes Trismegistus says macro and micro is the same relation, the same laws going on. And they said what I make is I unblock the stagnant energy on the sky, on the earth. The sky, the blue sky, is for me the heart.
The skin.
The skin.
The blue sky
is
equals
the
the skin.
And I, with my experience, I can see who a blockade is. And I make this cloudbuster. And when it deblocks, you have the flow energy, the chi is moving. And when it's moved, you have a basic natural milieu, environment. And in a basic solution or environment, doesn't exist any Krankheiten.
Any pathogens.
Any pathogens. That's what we see. This blockade is acid environment. And with cloudbusting, you transform this. The garage, the devices are acupuncture needles, and we need the force, a vital force. This vital force is water. Water is demagnetic, is as a magnet, a magnet, yes. Wilhelm Reich uses a lot of Wasser, also seas, great seas to deblock. But I have not this water in the Sahara. I have a Wasser, ein kleiner Wasser. But with this, it's saturated. After 5 minutes work, it's saturated. You have acid. Then I made another researchers as Schauberger, as Tesla, as Kozirev, Nassim Haramein, to create another space from water, fourth force from water, created in this basin. And with this little device, and I make another concept to Cloudbuster. The Cloudbuster was very schädlich, gefährlich.
Before the Cloudbuster was very dangerous to use.
Dangerous. You must have
gloves.
And
why is that? From radiation or from
the radiation? Yeah. When you take the door, the deadly organ, and you have organ, and is stronger when it's comes, and you were wird man halt gelebt einfach. Yeah.
You become almost like
paralyzed even potentially.
Of paralyzed.
Yeah. Then I
Impressive use, by the way, of
transformed,
translation. I'm impressed with everyone translating. Very
yeah,
good.
then I transformed the Cloudbuster from Wilhelm Reich after 2 years researching, and they found a better conception. And as Dr. Bernd Senf visited me on my place in the desert, he don't want to touch the Cloudbuster with
Bare hands.
a hand. No. I said, in my is not dangerous. And we say that if you believe or not, also, as in the Bible, we said that, and they said, touch. He said to me, no, touch. And after 10 minutes, we were in under a discussion, come a pigeon, a white pigeon, and I said, Taube.
A white bird.
Yeah, on sit on the Cloudbuster.
The
I
dove
said,
of peace. Yeah.
Come, look, man, he had no, he's not afraid. He can, yeah, it's not dangerous. And he took us. He's like, oh, really, yes, yeah. It was another fun rain making and fun cloud busting and so. And the better name is not we disturb not in the sky the clouds. We make the clouds so that we say Himmels sky acupuncture. That's the new name from this device. And the works is Feng Shui, Sky Feng Shui. Yeah. And the result is love, aimer. And love is when the Himmel, when the sky kiss the earth.
Perfect toroidal energy flow.
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense. So that's what's interesting about it, is that some people might not use it for the right reasons. Do you think that this technology could be used by, obviously China, the United States, Russia are all into geoengineering, right? The big governments love to change the weather.
Yes.
It sounds like your version is safe. Is theirs safe, or is there a difference?
It's different. We work with the nature. As when you wenn du jemanden behandelst, du hilfst ihm wieder, Kräfte zu generieren.
If you treat a patient, you help him regenerating himself and creating forces by himself.
Ja, wir sind die ganzen großen Bösen für, we are the great bad boys for the geoengineering. Why HARP is working only with blue sky, you know,
right.
high pressure. But I create another pressure with clouds. And that is not good for geoengineering, you know.
Right,
yeah.
ELF, right.
Yeah.
Gesundheit. That's a very good thing. So also the amount of energy. So we talk about the costs of energy. How much energy does it cost to use your Cloudbuster?
Wie viel Energie verbraucht kostet die Energie für den Cloudbuster?
You know, the electrical atmospheric is when you have 2 meters, you have so viel, and 2 meters, you know, when you begin is not strong, but you must cap the operation when you see you are in the 100,000 level, you know, it can very strong. One time, Hanin was with me. We worked with Tesla technique and Wilhelm Reich. It's another technique, and the sky opened the doors, and we were away. Yeah, it was a lot of waters on the Blitzer, einfach.
Thunderstorm,
yeah.
Sun came up.
So it could be very strong. You think it could be too strong? Do you think this could cause superstorms or?
Yeah, you must learn to work with this energy. You must, zeg maar, slowly, you must intuitive, you must feel. It's not you come and the device hawk 24 degrees east-west and no, it's different. Yes.
Do you think you could use this to take apart a storm if there's a huge hurricane or something? Do you think this could be used to divert or make it smaller?
Yes, we can. We can is another way when we work with 2 or 3 devices. We can, you know, while we work direct with the jet stream. And if you arrive to decline the jet stream, you can move all things on this earth, the clouds, yes. And that is HARP. HARP, they arbeitet with jet streams, yeah.
So do you think this could actually work to disrupt HARP if there were enough cloudbusters? Would it interact or interfere with their systems?
And maybe also, I believe that you had also mentioned this. I mean, it's already called a sphere harmonizer, but maybe you would like to explain this is apparently not only about the weather, right? It's not only about the clouds. It's also about emotion, no?
Yeah, sphere harmonizer is another part.
Oh, the
sphere
Schumann.
harmonizer, I discovered this accidentally. It was not my aim to make that, or as I thought about Hermes Trismegistus with the analogy principle, where he said, if you don't understand something, you can compare it, all the things on the physics, on this universum work similars. If you don't understand electricity, you can think about water, and you make water is flowing as electricity in tubes. And you have lamps. Lamps, you can name water
Faucet.
Tap.
Faucet.
and you can understand what's behind this if it works. And I thought at this time, when they yet are able to make through HARP a changing till 2025. They said die werden das beherrschen, das Wetter.
We're gonna
Control the weather.
Control the weather.
Yeah, control the weather, yeah. I said that I must find a way to stabilize the people in their einfach position without these mind control systems from HARP and sowas. While when you change the resonance from the Earth, Schumann's resonance 783, you can change the mind from the peoples. And I thought, how can I stabilize this 783 resonance frequency from Mother Earth? And I built for Kozyrev, sagt man Spiegel, mirrors. Yes. While with the Kozyrev mirrors, he wanted to make a photo from the sky, from the stars. And he knows with the light Geschwindigkeit,
The light.
Nein, Geschwindigkeit,
Speed
Lichtgeschwindigkeit.
of light. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
The sky, what you now see, is 1 or 2 million years old, is not the reality. And Kozyrev says, how can I make the real sky now? Well, the Kozyrev technique, you can go through the times. You have Torah, einfach, yeah.
The portals.
Portals. And after few minutes, I couldn't make a device who I can't make a program, speichern,
Could save.
save in this device, Kozyrev device, the 783 harmony from the Earth, Schumann's resonance. And I forget my Arbeit. It was so, you know, your Arbeit, you forget, you notice. And I planted 4 tons potatoes. I wanted to go out of this problematic money. Please help me, and so I wanted to produce myself so that I am free from money. I can make my own Arbeit. After I planted 4 tons, I earned 45 tons potatoes. It was 2008. But at this time,
That's better than anybody else did in 2008.
Is coming, and the potatoes were very cheap, and the truffles, the price from the truffles was $80. Is coming of $3, you know, and I said, "Oh my God, what are you making with me?" And I decided to give my potatoes to Lloyd, and we had a lot, but no money. It was a very old woman, 85. She's coming, and she took par potatoes. And after 2-3 days, she comes wieder, also again, and again, and again. And I said, what's los? The potatoes are small, red. You can go on the town, they are very big. And so like, nee. Your potatoes, I can mich erinnern.
I can't remember.
Remember, as I was 18, cooking only with water and little salt. And I had never in my life have diesen Tausch. Ich habe sowas nie wieder gefunden. Yeah?
I never had the same taste again.
Yeah, but now it's like as the same taste as 18. But just wow, I understand the effect. Yeah, right. It works. Yeah. And so is the Sphärenharmonie born in this way. We use it not for rain. We use it for our heart. Our heart has not only 4 points. It's the 5. Es gibt eine 5. Kammer.
He's talking about the 5th chamber of the heart.
Ja, und this 5th chamber, alle Leute, Mediziner, die haben Angst, das zu berühren einfach, diese 5.
They're afraid of touching the 5th chamber of the heart.
Die wissen about. And this 5th chamber, if you look with a microscope, is geometrically as a dodecaeder. What you have about the sphere harmony. And in this dodecaeder is a light built, you can see it with a microscope, as a human body.
Wow.
It's the same with Leonardo da Vinci, you know, this boy.
The Vitruvian.
Yeah. Yes. And this machine is able to communicate from heart to heart. You feel good like hormones, you feel yourself happy, you don't have the opposite from love, what is?
Right.
Hate.
It's a bread.
Hate.
It's an
Love it.
ungrateful lady
Yeah.
cooking your meal. That's the thing.
Yes,
I was thinking about this earlier because you're talking about this, and I think some people think, oh, flowery language, love, and good feelings. But
Yeah.
the Schumann resonance is very real. We see how people get angry in mobs, and it affects the Schumann resonance. And you imagine, you know, people listening to music while they're picking strawberries versus how angry they could be while they're picking your fruit or growing your fruit. This affects food even to the level of sickness, people getting sick because they're eating hate, right? So it's important.
So I would already like to.
Without the resonance, Schumann's resonance, we couldn't have NASA or the space capsules and so. Well, when you have not contact with the Schumann's resonance, you will die, you will ill, you will they are experimented with this in bunkers, and so the people are ill, and he made this resonance device in this room, and they feel it themselves better and better. Yeah.
Right, higher energy back in balance. Sorry, Raf.
No, just because we don't want to keep you forever already. Thank you very much for your time. I would just like to make sure if Martin has any questions before we continue with the second part of the show. Martin, anything you would like to comment or you would like to ask now that we have the opportunity?
Yeah, what I would like to ask you, you already talked about a lot about the Hermetic principles and everything.
Yes.
So do you actually think that Wilhelm Reich invented this, or did he just rediscover an old technology that was already there?
I think myself, when you work intuitively with intuition, the high from our person, while when we come to this world, we have we come with zwei Sachen.
Always two things.
Two things. The instinct is with the animals, you know. You have afraid and you must safeguard yourself from this, and so you have this instinct einfach. And instinct is by the animals als sex. You know, when you have a dog, he loves you, he shows you their sex. And we have the Gottlieb, we have the intuition. The intuition is higher. But this intuition, you cannot reach it with the mind. You must with the heart. The mind is the blockade between instinct and intuition. You know, is the blockade. And this mind is ego. The Buddha says your ego is your blockade. When it go on back, you are in nirvana, you know. You are as a river. A river is going and going on the growth and growth till she arrived to the mare,
To the ocean.
to the ocean. But the river has no mind. We have no mind. We have love, and we have angst, afraid. Fear, yes. Also, when the river arrived to the ocean, afraid. Yes, the ocean. I must. But the river had no rivers. Sie kann nicht zurück. Sie hat keine Rückwärtsgang.
The river can't flow backwards.
Kann nicht. We can go back. We do that every day. We arrive to the nirvana, but we go back. But the river is better. She comes, she don't think and goes in the mare. At this moment, she is the ocean. She is the ocean. But we are theoretisch the ocean. But in the practice, no. We have a blockade. We are afraid. And we must transform this in love. You know, when you love, all that is possible, einfach. You are in all things, and all things are in you, and you are in intuition. And when you are in intuition, you have das Wissen, the knowledge. The knowledge is akasha, or is there. When I work, I am not myself. I am as Alexis Zorba, you know, this crazy man. Yes. And in this art, the time is disparate, and the thinking is stopped. And all what you make is 100%. And you have a knowledge, you know, from inspiration. And later, when you come out from this Zustand, a state, yeah, and you speak with another world, it's like, oh, hast du gefunden? Did you find it? And so they don't understand. But after they're trying and so, they give me a right. Yeah, they give me a right. It's like it's work. Yes. Yeah.
Right, that energy's there. I mean, it's interesting because you keep talking about blue as well, and the blue skin or the blue veil. I think Blavatsky called it the blue veil. This idea that the sky is kind of covering up the blue color that we're seeing, which is a large percentage of the color spectrum, more than it should be, is covering up all the plasma and energy that we used to see. And if you look at history books, people could not see blue in Homer's Odyssey. There's no mention of blue. The ocean and sea are described as the colors of wine and honey, right? And the sky as well, colorful with stars. So we look at the history of architecture and the idea that they probably were better in line with nature and with the orgone and natural flow. The towers even having similar metal perfusion, similar to some of these rife cloud busting cannons. So it does feel like something used to be right, went out of style, or that we had some sort of a problem.
Yeah, maybe this can be one good closing question, just to connect the topics, because Andreas does a lot of research into history and architecture, as he just mentioned. So maybe Madjid or also Hanin, what is your impression? I'm not even sure how to best put it, of, let's say, old world architecture, or so-called Greco-Roman architecture, or temple architecture.
And Turanian architecture, looking at Iranian architecture, any function to this stuff.
Also, when sorry, English. It's
don't ever apologize. I'm sorry, we have to speak this horrible language. Keep going.
You know about the gold number, and the Fibonacci. If you are in love with a woman, you look, she is very pretty. She had this gold number.
She has a golden ratio.
Gold ratio. And your heart, you are in love, you know. And it's also with this architecture. The old architecture, cathedrals and so, are built from another civilization. I think it was a great reset before this reset is coming, you know. And they want that we forget this sacred geometry. While these devices, for me, are in resonance with the ether. When you look at the windows, when you look at the doors, when you look at the portrait, when you look the design, you are in love. You are you feel something, yeah. And this, what this architecture has, you have it. It's we Hermes Trismegistos. It's the energy is flowing, the chi is flowing, and if you know, I give you the first time you heard that, the secret of architecture. If you understand this, you understand what behind. This word architecture, what means? The people this name gave to architect knows about it. Architecture. They have the art, the chi, technique.
Realize.
You know, it's architect. And
Wow.
these people worked only with sacred geometry, you know, that this chi flowing, verstehst du, this ether, chi is ether, yes.
It's in the definition of what it is to have the building, the architecture itself. Right. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, Hanin, and again, sorry, what was your name, your son?
Madjid.
Hanin.
And oh, you're Hanin and he's Madjid. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
the whole time. Okay. Let me go to your website so people can find desert greening and look into this because it's pretty fascinating. If you guys go to Integral Unwealthyling Alung.
This is
Weltheilung.
actually not the official website, but
Oh,
if you go to desert-greening.com, you'll find it. But this is like a summary, like a link tree, as they shadow banned us on Linktree. We just created this one, which also exists in English. Exactly. If you click there, so it's a summarization of everything related to the topic.
awesome. Desert greening. See, this is very easy for the Americans to find. And I'll put the link in the description so that everyone can link on this. So there's a number of videos here and you can see a bunch of stuff about the process. And this is so important because you can imagine all the places that are being exploited the most because they have little access to rainwater. So people will be able to exploit them. And if all of a sudden that they're able to have farming there, they're able to be autonomous and independent and become traders. There's just so much more benefit to being able to control your destiny with controlling your weather. And it's clearly associated with the idea of better living and for better humanity. I mean, imagine how much higher the Schumann resonance will be with happier people that aren't starving. So
We project now in Charlotte, in America, to make a production from small harmonies, Fern harmony. The people now buy it in America, but the charges, post charges, are very, very expensive. So that we must produce direct in America.
Here's the YouTube channel as well, everybody. So make sure you subscribe there. I'll put a link to this in the description below. Awesome.
There's a playlist with especially English videos.
Oh, great.
Might find it somewhere.
English videos right here.
English videos, yeah. There you have like, I think like 12 or 15 videos we translate into English.
37 that are available on the playlist in English videos. So not bad at all. Yeah, and you'd be surprised how good how acceptable anyway the English subtitles can be with Google Overdub. They'll sometimes do a pretty good job. So it's definitely worth getting across the language pond, guys, so that you can see what's going on. The more we work together, the more we can learn. So, and thank you so much, Madjid, for being here. And Hanin, I appreciate that you were here. It's amazing. The translation in German can be so hard because the words are so specific, right? So very good job. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for your time.
Super. Thank you. It was great.
Well, thank you guys very much. So now the question is, Martin, want to continue on for the second hour?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, then, thank you very, very much, Madjid and Hanin. Thank you for joining. And this shall reach, just the right individuals on the wavelength, let's say. So thank you very much.
And hopefully we can talk soon some more, because I do want to ask you some questions about artificial intelligence I'll have to think about. So very good.
Thank you.
Take care.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good. So then, Martin, so many questions. I feel like we should also meditate a bit on that thought of the storm machine. So what do you think about all that? And you were just kind of alluding to the idea of like ancient technology. What was that making you think about?
Yeah, it made me think about Tartaria. So here we are.
Right? Yeah.
Here we are again, right? So the use of the hermetic principles, the use of nature forces, and he even talked about ancient civilization that must have been there before that used all that stuff. I mean, that's
Right.
what we call Tartaria, right?
I mean, so the more we're looking at all of these towers and the idea of them having, you know, a lot of these buildings have connection to a river line. They have a metal tower at the top using a series of these solar or planetary symbols, and then they've got usually a generator or some sort of a room for a generator underneath the buildings. So it seems likely to me that they were not just for free energy, but also for keeping some sort of balance in the weather. That seems to be the Graham Hancock story about the pyramids. I think we see that across Europe with these buildings as well.
Yes. Fascinating.
What do you think about Indonesia? You know, some of these the Indonesian buildings. Have you looked into these?
So what I'm thinking about, Andreas, is number one, you mentioned those storms in your documentary History Revised. And in terms of Indonesia, have you seen this one? I wish I could find it now, of course, video where you have like an Indonesian temple, I guess. You hear this like oming sound in the background. And then there it seems like a Tesla type lamp in the middle of it with some like an attractor field. And if I were to imagine a device like this, or somehow a conversion of atmospheric technology, this is how I would imagine it to be looking. Maybe someone in chat or someone saw it. Maybe Martin, you saw it at some point. It was like a short video.
I'm afraid I didn't see it. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's terribly interesting. It was the only video I'd ever seen where it appeared as if there was an, active conversion happening, and you could actually see it, like the lights. Yeah.
That would be cool. That does remind me, though, guys, if you haven't gone to Act Like You Know 26 and checked it out, Martin and Raphael have finished the full documentary here in German. You get History Revised all the way through. And now that I've watched it, I don't know how it was possible. You guys get so much more credit. I was just like, I'm ranting. How do you possibly get the German words are even longer? I don't know how you did it. It's amazing. I mean, really, that you could fit it in. It's really impressive, but some of the best stuff right here. And it's something you can share with people in the German language. So this is a huge step. I'm really stoked on that. Thank you guys for getting that done. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, Raphael did the bulk of the work. He was so good. He was so quick. It took me forever to get these 20 minutes done, but finally we got it done.
It's amazing.
Wasn't divine timing. I just got in the mood, and obviously it's a tribute in a sense. These medieval terms, maybe. It's all of what you're doing. I mean, you're putting out 2 shows a day or something. I'm sure everyone here appreciates. Everyone give a shout out to X, I would say, and that's. Of course, and that's also why we did it, because obviously, I mean, there is some content in German. I even realized there's a Mind Unveiled channel in German now.
Yeah.
Anyone interested? Maybe Martin, do you know of anything else in German, just as we're talking about it now, and certainly Germans listening who may be interested?
You mean about Tartaria?
Yes, of course. There's your channel, which we're gonna link, Xirtus, because Martin just opened the channel, and he's already dominating on Telegram. It's like in 2 weeks, it's 3,000 subscribers.
Do we go to Martin Hipp?
Very well done.
How do I find your channel?
That's actually on Telegram, and you just spell Tartaria in the right writing, so T-A-T-R-A. So without the first R, Tartaria. 777.
But on Telegram.
Telegram.
But you can even find it here. Nice. You can already. There's your videos too.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay.
Very good. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Catherine and stuff. So that's Catherine's channel, not your channel, right?
That's Catherine's channel.
It's her channel, but I guess that his Telegram will be linked there, which is why it came up in the video at least.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not here, but in the video itself, I guess, if it was already linked. So, yeah, you got to go back to the search, then you'll find it.
It'll work, I swear. This one here, and then here we did it. The Telegram. Okay, Tartaria 777. Yes. Boom. Okay, open a Telegram.
So that's actually a picture of the clock in Münster. Where this is this 1540 clock. And it actually has Tartaria written on there. I wanted to see it with my own eyes, and there I did. So
wow, Epic.
That's why I picked this. Yes.
Well, actually, yeah, I don't know if you have anything you want to share. Do you have any photos or screen stuff that you want to share? You're also welcome to do that. Not to put pressure on you to do that if you don't, but
Okay. At this point, I did not even prepare anything for today, so that's a good.
Yeah, no
fine.
worries. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't holding you back.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But also in terms of you were talking about the weather thing. So Raphael, you just said superstorm. Which superstorm are you talking about?
Well, in the documentary or in your documentary, and yes, it is a lot of, I don't want to say ranting, but it's a lot of syncretic thought stringed together by ants, so it's fascinating. So what you also mentioned, this idea of storm weapons and superstorms, and what rings in my head now is the simultaneous droughts and floods, even in officially documented things, and then we talk about San Francisco, we spoke about the demolition fire teams and all of that. But yeah, the question of storm weapons in general, and yeah, if something like this could be imagined, I even once, again, I wish I could just download it again from the ether on my hard drive. I found this document from 1860 about electroacoustic weapons, and that sounded like a military science document kind of thing. And I was like, whoa, like they're real about this. But of course, in official narrative, no one would think about something existing. So yeah, so my point was just, it's in a documentary, and there's the question, to what extent can this be used? Although I also have to say, again, from the conference in Switzerland, we had this presentation on geoengineering by the Zurich University guy, and he explained how all of those things that we call natural disasters, as I mentioned, can be created by the technology that they officially filed. So yeah.
I mean, do you guys remember a couple months ago we talked about the Sahara Sea project? Do you remember this? What I'm talking about in the 19th century? It's all right. It's super vague. So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And this seems to matter more and more. And I was thinking about it recently too. So we'll bring it back up. This idea of the Sahara Sea was a hypothetical macro engineering project which proposed flooding endorheic basins in the Sahara Desert with water from the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. And this way that they could fill up the desert parts of Africa and create a kind of inland sea. And, this is also in a place where it was described that the desert used to be a sea that is now desert, right? So and how long ago? Well, scientists are comfortable with millions of years. Historians should be more comfortable with the stories that this was within the last 1,000 years, or wadis that allowed the Taman Rasset to flow in between, and that there already was this Sahara Sea within the last few centuries, maybe 6 centuries ago, 8 centuries to 12 centuries, like totally, but 6 centuries to 4 centuries ago, starting to dry up and be seasonal, right? And then and that then goes quick. As soon as that starts, then it's just 40-60 years gone, right? And that's how that goes, one generation.
What this certainly reminds me of is the Great Man-Made River Project by Gaddafi, the huge aquifers that are official below the deserts, where I'm also like, what is this? And again, what did Frank Herbert write about exactly? I'm still not sure.
Gaddafi was actually the first guy I thought about when you told me the subject for today. I was like, oh man, so he tried to do
really?
This in Northern Africa. Yeah, that came into my mind immediately. Yeah.
It's totally got to be related. I mean, the amount of work that was going into making it possible for Libya to have a man-made sea, I wonder if it even comes up on in the 20th century. If we look in the 20th century history here, is there anything about the man-made river project? Nope, not even wanting to look about it. That's pretty interesting. They love to talk about the European efforts. They talk about Donald Mackenzie, I think his name was, who wanted to do this in the 19th century. The French were really into it. There was a German plan too. I don't know if I can find that one. That one was really crazy. It was the idea to flood basically all of South Europe as well, to make a sort of, let's see, where was that at? The German.
Wait, you're telling me they were planning to flood an entire continent? Where did I hear that before?
Yeah, I wish I could find the picture of it. I have it in my older video, but the idea, they thought, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll just like all of what was it? German Sahara geoengineering project. Let's see if I can find this. If I just like type this in. Was there another one? I saw other desert flooding projects. No, that was the same one. But there were plans to Atlantropa. Oh my God, that was easier than I thought it would be to find. Atlantropa. So this is what they wanted to do. And if you think about it, this looks like pictures of stuff that they already did, And so you've got these kind of Caucasus steps that they were going to do to the Mediterranean.
Wow.
And all of the Baltic.
Wow.
Yeah, it would just suck.
Will
to
they
be
all have
Croatia.
different temperatures to bathe in? That's what I'm thinking of when I see this, like hot spring,
It does look like giants would be able to do like a thermal pool dip. I hear you. Let me go back a second. So Atlantropa, the German project to drain the Mediterranean, a crazy geoengineering project to drain the sea and merge the two continents into one. The German architect Hermann Sorgel, who lived at the turn of the 19th and 20th century, had a great project to which he dedicated his entire life. He spoke of it for the first time in 1929 in his book Mittelmeer Senkung, Sahara Bewasserung Pan-Europa Project. With the Pan-Europa project consisted essentially in eliminating the Mediterranean Sea from the geographical maps, draining the basin and conquering new habitable land for the European people. So all of those island peaks between Croatia and Italy, and around all those underwater plains in Greece, those would have been great new German summer homes, was the plan, and it would have been.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But there's a lot of plans like this that have existed, and the idea that things change all the time and a lot quicker than we realize that this could happen now in the 21st. This is not a retired idea. In the 21st century, there are tons of companies that want to do this because, and kind of like we were saying earlier, these are all areas that theoretically beachfront property that should be multi-million-dollar homes, except that there's a desert there. It's the same thing in California where they have the Bakersfield. Bakersfield used to be lakes, rivers, and great agriculture, but it's the cheapest part of California because the water's controlled, right? But once you make it possible for people to have consistent rain, seems like this would all go away, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Geoengineering and clouds. What do you think about so a lot of people talk about how birds don't exist. I'm a big fan of clouds don't exist. Not that they don't exist, but just how many of these are clouds, right? I mean, it's just so much of this.
That would be my question for Martin. I'm not even sure if you got into it anywhere, because now I learned through your Telegram channel that you have a background in the military as well. I'm not sure how much we had spoken about this with Andreas. But also just from this point of view, I mean, to what I can understand, it's officially admitted militarily that these things are being used. I mean, that's
absolutely. There is actually the German army has an official document talking about geoengineering. I think it's from 2006 or something like that. It's absolutely amazing.
Wow. So what is the German government kind of trying to, what's the apologist view? What do they say?
I think they link it somehow to this crazy Bill Gates idea, to stop the global warming. That's one of the cover stories, so we want to keep the bad sun rays out and all that. Yeah, exactly. The picture shows it pretty well. Right. I think that's probably the main cover story they're using. Nobody's talking about the poisons they put out there, to keep us silent, to keep us dumb, to whatever they want to do,
I really wish I could find the French one.
I sent you a link on Zoom. This is from maybe we can translate this. This is from the Umweltbundesamt, which maybe is the proper one in Germany. Mm-hmm. Is that official? Whatever official means. Let's check the company registry. No, let's rather not. But yeah, so here we can see the official viewpoints. This is not a document that he meant, because there was one by the military, but I was just looking for something that's official, and this may be more recent.
What is geoengineering? Radiation balance influence, thermal, atmospheric, deprived carbon dioxide. Again, this is translated from German, so it's coming out a little.
But this is nice because this fits in with the greenhouse gas narrative that the main thing that geoengineering is just carbon capture, which I guess they try to say here.
It's just carbon capture. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, right. And HARP is just measuring the sun, right? So it's all it does. It's observing the sun. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Making this. The sun does not look right anymore. Am I wrong? It just feels like a weird fluorescent bulb that they need to switch pretty soon.
Yeah, like they switched it to an LED, like the bad one.
Yeah, like, probably.
Bad generation for the 20-year span bulb. I remember I was in France and I started seeing a lot of these chemtrail or geoengineering. Sorry, I feel like there's a word you're supposed to use here. Geoengineered clouds, and it was just really interesting because they need it. They need to have the weather or else their wine won't work. So they have to have consistent weather all the time. And so it wasn't necessarily like I thought they were trying to destroy France with it or anything, but just keep the value. And I think that that's going to be the way they sell it to a lot of people pretty soon. I mean, they're telling us, oh, well, the Chinese are doing it. The Russians are doing it, probably. America should do it too, just to catch up. And so why wouldn't Europe? And Europe used to be the place where things were organic. And now I think it's the most GMO experimental. It's the prototype. It's weird how that went.
It's
very strange.
It was actually when the Ukrainian war started, there was a very interesting weather patterns. I think they actually had a weather war there because starting the 24th of February, all of a sudden the usual wind direction, which is from the west, from the Atlantic Ocean blowing inland, that switched, and all of a sudden we had eastern winds all the time. So that is really funky to see that, and it seems like there was a true weather battle, and finally the western winds are stronger again than the eastern winds. But there must have been some geoengineering battle between the Russians and the Americans. Really, really amazing.
What's the name of that tower? There's another tower that they have in Ukraine that's like the Soviet equivalent to Harp. The Woodpecker.
Harp. I'm not sure about that.
Pecker Wiki.
I think the biggest Harp station in Europe is in the Rostock area, and that actually uses the Ostsee, the Baltic Sea. It uses the Baltic Sea as a mirror, as a reflector.
Yeah, the Russian woodpeckers, the Duga radar. This is the array in Chernobyl and Pripyat.
Okay.
Oh, it's in Chernobyl, of course.
It looks like.
Isn't that the place you're not supposed to check out by yourself? Sorry.
What is this movie? What with these? There is a science fiction. They have a fence just like that. With the not the Eloy. There was the time machine. Oh man, I can't think of the movie.
With a fence. I can't either.
Yeah. I have to find out what the movie is.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you've heard the stories that maybe part of the firmament, or maybe there's a giant rain VLF bubble that's keeping us inside of a, that we're underneath, or that we're stuck in certain parts of the earth because of these things.
Now that you mention it, I mean, it looks like a fence, and somehow the word came up in my mind, like frequency fence, and and then it could mean many things. It could mean manipulation of Schumann resonance or brainwave to people within a certain sphere of consciousness.
Yeah.
It could, I don't know, if there is some kind of a layer somewhere, it could influence that, or the reflections, or what we see, how we see, many things. But even just the idea, we talk about hermetic principle, as above so below. It looks like a fence, it probably works like a fence. That was just what I was thinking now.
Yeah, probably.
There's a thing with the VLF band, VLF nuclear, if I could type that, radiation. NASA detects human-made nuclear bubble protecting Earth from radiation. Isn't that nice? Good job, everybody. We did this by accident. No. But so the idea is NASA's found a nuclear bubble surrounding Earth, which is protecting it from radiation. And this is because of all the nuclear explosions, when the particles get bounced by the radio waves from our broadcast, then they get pushed up a little bit. And so there's just like a thin layer in the Van Allen belt of all the leftover radiation material. So anytime you're going through the Van Allen belt, just be warned. You're also going to deal with some nuclear fallout, apparently. But it's interesting because then they're telling us, and simultaneously to this.
Oh, okay. Just
mind.
So I'm getting this straight. They're talking about the idea that their new state
take all the time you need.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that nicely, and it's hard. So that their new version of radio tech basically is the thing protecting us. Because for a second I was thinking, they talk about the human energetic field, the magnetic field of the heart or something. But no, here, of course, they want to say that their low frequency radio, whatever, is creating that
This
bubble.
terrifying radiation that can cause mutations. And I don't even think that
Which
I'm
one
not
you're
even afraid
talking
to say
about
that,
now?
right?
Which one
I-
you're talking about?
Yeah, which one we talk. So look where we're at, right? But they're saying this thing is good for you. That probably isn't, right? That's what we're getting at. However, it's bad for meteors or something. I don't know, because if something flies through the thing and it gets torn apart, if you're an alien and you're traveling, 55 miles north, I don't know. The thing is, you can get hurt by this. It'll tear you apart. That's the goal. That's the goal of this VLF band, having all this atomic radiation. And simultaneously, they're like, okay, this is great. This is the best thing that's ever happened to us. We're stoked. But there's also a bunch of solar flares coming, and it's going to disrupt all of the radio frequencies. Just don't worry about that. But for the next 5 years or something, radio frequencies are going to be iffy. And we had a couple flares this year, consistently. It's getting more and more and more and more until it's supposed to be 24, 25, 2024, 2025. It's supposed to be just like, we don't know. Some people are saying that's the real Y2K. Things will shut down. Other people are like, maybe by then we'll have underground fiber optic lit control, or the FCC will become sort of an international organization, an alliance between the Federal Communications Branch of the United States government and whatever radio agencies exist in Europe and China, because they're going to have to control all the radio frequencies for military, just in case, keep whatever ones are open, which will start to be bled together.
So just to understand this properly, they are proposing here not non-independently verifiable threat scenario, and are telling us that whatever they're doing for the past decades is exactly what's luckily protecting us from this threat scenario that they are presenting, that we cannot independently verify. Am I understanding this properly? Just to get
something like that.
Okay.
And but that
It's just 'cause I wanna understand the reasoning of what
there's
they're
one
saying
more
here.
caveat. The nuance is, and on top of that, there's absolutely no way that this awesome thing could be causing the problems that we have most certainly blamed on the sun. It is certainly the sun's fault. The sun's always causing trouble. It's not this newfangled nuclear belt that we've built. No, sir. That thing is safe. And it's, if anything, helpful.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, it's a satanic reversion, right?
Right.
So because they actually, so all the gods, all the Egyptians, the Sumerians, they all had the sun god, and now all of a sudden the sun is bad. So
right.
Everything reversed.
But it is interesting because, inversion does happen. We were talking about this the other day on my show about Saturn, right? Being full of babies. And it's like, come on, Saturn's a mommy. This has clearly been inverted. And you can look at the Egyptian and the Sumerian. Saturn was associated with love and the goddess, and even in the ancient Hebrew, right? Like the femininity is associated with the Saturn. So things were inverted already. This has been compromised, saying by Hermes Trismegistus, maybe the inversion of the poles. Maybe we've got a point where the north and south inverted, which is another, hey, is this just because things are spinning in a globe, or is it the Batman comic book? I don't know if you read that one, but there's a whole thing where the world, all of a sudden, they turn it inside out. There's also the story of Davy Crockett starting the world back up because the world gets super cold because the internal Yggdrasil tree that used to spin isn't spinning anymore. So the Yggdrasil tree has to be turned back on with some sort of a weird mechanical system. So I mean, the idea of inversion, I mean, we might be back to the next inversion. Maybe this is the point where we're supposed to move away from the sun god towards Nuit, the night sky goddess, right? Who is sometimes shown as blue, but usually just a sort of invisible thing with a lot of stars in her, right? It's plasma.
I mean, now that you mention it, isn't that exactly what the, let's call it, world top clergy has been plotting for the past few decades, to create some kind of a new religion, whatever they want to base it on exactly? But just from noticing that, I would assume that what you're saying is probably correct. And again, I just want to hijack it. I'm sure you heard about this whole Gaianism idea, let's say, which then leads into transhumanism and extreme environmentalism up to the extent that we forget that we are supposed to be stewards of the earth and not kill ourselves and just be like, oh, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about Gaianism?
What is
Me?
Gaianism?
Yeah, so
about
Gaianism is like kind of what he said, plus the idea that everyone is part of one living being, Gaia, which is the earth. We're
Gaia,
all just
okay.
cells of Gaia, you know.
Mhm.
The ecosystem's alive. What do you think of it all?
I actually think there is there's
Well,
not
truth to
only
that.
a ton of truth to that, that is the truth.
Yeah, right.
Because it's actually so Gaia, Mother Nature, that is the base of everything, and they did everything to disconnect it from that, to disconnect us from that, you know, because the female pole, and here we are with the hermetics again, right? So the gender, the principle of gender, you have to have female and male together to create something.
Right.
And they destroyed women over the past couple hundreds of years, you know, so because in the old Germans, actually, the females, that was the big guys. They knew their medicine, they knew the healing techniques, they were protected by men, and they completely reversed that. And we are now at the state where they sent the women away to do the work, also taking them away from the family. And now we're destroying men, you know, with
destroying the polarity. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Have you heard of techno-Gaianism? You know about this? So
I haven't heard of that. No.
So there's a big put, and this is a very Californian place to go with this, but techno-Gaianism is the portmanteau of technology and Gaia philosophy. So if we're gonna do technology, if we're gonna have a reset, it should have to do with marrying the human technology to Gaianism. And I mean, at least that is where you get all the Venus Project stuff, all these ideas of solar panels that are part of nature, that the world all of a sudden integrates, that free energy. I mean, the way it's pushed by at least Californians and Irandis is techno-Gaianism. And we would have bags that were biodegradable. Every food you ate, maybe if it was genetically modified, you could have a fruit that tasted like nachos, and you throw it on the ground and it grows a bunch of seeds, and it wouldn't be Monsanto because everything would be open source. There'd be no incentive to have seedless watermelons, you know? So what do you think? Is this too optimistic? What's the scare here about replacing the trees with GMO, Monsanto, Silicon Valley?
Oh my God, it is so scary. They want to control everything, right?
I mean, I would assume that the natural solution is generally superior, and first, you know, just make the A/B test and see which one is really better, you know? I mean, what is this even?
Oh my God.
If you're going to charge your electric car, you're going to need to use a solar tree, bro. This is Silicon Valley. This is what we live in.
Okay, and then the other thing I thought was just, you know, I'm fine with
that guy's high on research chemicals right now. That car's driving itself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm fine with some of the designs, and you know, back then when it came out, Venus Project and so on, all looks nice. If already now you're living in a dystopian Babylonian, you know, city or something.
Yeah, add some trees.
But the issue is just that, you know, I just want to ask, does it come with or without a side order of totalitarian government, you know, even more than today, which I think too oftentimes is kind of baked into that cake and that approach. I've studied technocracy also in quite some depth, let's say. And I'm sure you know about technocracy, right, Andreas?
Right.
The 1930s movement. And yeah, you know, some nice ideas, but ultimately then again, it's either hijacked or has too many bad control factors within it. So
yeah, I mean, so that's part of the thing, is all of this relies on the idea that the state becomes nature. So on one hand, that'd be cool because, and I'm going to start with the optimist view first, obviously, is that if the state dissolves into nature, the way the emperor becomes hidden in Taoism, right? The best emperor is the one you don't know rules you, right? So if it becomes just part of nature, all of the things that are human about it, that are corrupt, at least, like politics, narcissism, fame, notoriety, generational influence, things like that would start to fall to the wayside of the course of nature. So that would be cool if that's the way it worked. The problem is it usually doesn't work that way. We usually bend nature to man, end up with ecological feedback loops that lead to deserts. People die, and then they're living off a bowl of rice, and we have to change the history books to make them think that's like the most food they've ever had. So I'm worried that that would be the thing. You've seen the wall city in Dubai.
Oh yes, yeah, I guess Saudi Arabia, I believe, right? Or is
Saudi
it
Arabia.
Dubai? I'm not sure. The
The
wall city
line,
is also
yeah.
crazy.
So Saudi Arabia, right? So I mean, this is kind of, I think, the compromise that we're more likely to get than the techno-Gaianism that would be cool, right? Like it'd be nice if we had wind turbines and these gliders that just followed the Gulf Stream and brought Wi-Fi to people. That I can see all the benefits, but this is more likely what you're going to get. You're going to get a prison that's invisible, from as far enough away that no one can see it, because it just shines right through the thing. So it's not interrupting the view of the few elite that don't have to live inside of this walled city you can't escape. So
it is nuts. Do you have a satellite view of that? Just to have our viewers see how crazy that idea is. Yeah, here, exactly.
Let me pull up the wide. Yeah, this is like a train.
Nuts.
That just won't stop. I mean, I definitely can see the interest in visiting it, but like, can you imagine you're living inside of this place?
Yeah.
If it really looks that colorful and with that nice light filter, I might consider it, but I doubt that's what it's going to be in the end, like as an art piece, looks pretty cool. But
I mean, it's just so fake though, because like you'd have to rely on the light and everything. I don't know. And then everyone has to the time. You have to imagine how it works with Islam. Like they'll probably shut it down at midnight or 11. So like lockdown in Judge Dredd. That's kind of how I'm kind of thinking.
And the first thing I thought about it when I saw the satellite view. This is the freaking Berlin Wall in the middle of the desert. So what are they trying to divide here? It's just nuts.
It's super crazy, right?
Good point. But is this in which country is this?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
And now technically it's all within one nation state, but that may change in the future, and then everyone will be like, oh, we wanted to partition those regions anyhow. How great! We already planned for this, 50 years ago or something. We got the wall already built.
Yeah,
how nice.
Exactly.
Raphael,
didn't you send me the video about the North and South?
Exactly. That's why I mentioned it also.
North and South Korea, North and South Vietnam.
This is by Michelle Gibson.
Yeah, so they're actually building the poles, right? They're building the polarity, North and South Pole, into a country. And then whatever they use it for, maybe it's a huge battery, maybe it's creating some crazy energy, who knows,
Do you have the link to this thing so I can see your
I'll send you the link in a second.
Okay. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to build?
They actually, there's a theory that they actually dividing countries by North and South, and South Korea, North and South Vietnam, and then you have the Civil War, the American Civil War, North against South.
Interesting.
So they're actually building the hermetic polarity. The principle of polarity is built into countries.
Two of every kind. Yeah, right. Okay.
Exactly.
I sent the link in the chat, Andreas.
Pulling this up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the movie. Yeah.
And so showing the division, right? North and South Vietnam, right? It's like a strategic way of dividing and conquering.
Correct.
So when the United States got too powerful, dividing it across the South so that they could swallow up the different groups. Man.
Yep, exactly.
That's super brutal. What do we do? What are we to do about this? I mean, it looks like all of it's not historical. We see a black and white picture here, but Taiwan's in the process of doing this right now. I mean, crazy. Yeah, Sudan, man. That's also interesting. Thinking about like all that they've destroyed in Africa and what they're trying to replace it with right now. It'll probably be terraformed. You'll have beachfront properties that Saudi Arabia owns in the Sahara Desert, right? Have you seen snow in the Sahara? Part of the deal with the feedback loop is that every year
Oh
it's starting
my
to
gosh.
snow more and more. And then once the snow settles, because water will evaporate, but snow can stay there longer. So it'll make it easier for things to start to root. There's some roots already starting
Okay.
there. And so you're imagining a green Sahara in the next 20 years, not even 40,
Yeah.
right?
So, and it will be green again, right? Because that's obviously the leftovers of a huge war.
Yeah, see, I'm under the impression that Sahara used to probably mean forest or
Yeah.
rainforest or something.
Absolutely.
Jungle,
Yeah.
you know.
And there's these old Tartarian maps where you actually see cities and roads in the middle of the Sahara. And have you seen satellite picture of the Sahara Eye? I'm not sure if that's the correct name.
Oh, in the Eye of Mauritania.
Yes, exactly.
Right, right. So what do you think about this? I mean, it's because some people will say it's natural, but doesn't that kind of
There is no way that's natural. That's
maybe it's a bit of both, right? You've got these natural energy volcanoes and systems, so it could easily be that this was a city. You got the same map size as Atlantis.
Yeah.
23 miles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Amazing. It
Crazy.
could even be the crater of a nuclear explosion, you know. Could be something like that.
So that kind of gets into the History Revised documentary, the idea of Krakatoa, right?
Mm.
I mean, so what do you think about the idea of these nuclear power plants all over the world? I mean, do you think that they were destroyed, that there was a natural reaction? I mean, it seems like there's a number of these that went off. So how likely is it that there was a bunch of accidents at once?
Mm. You mean like a chain reaction all across the globe?
That's the thing. It's one or the other. I mean, one is that something happens that starts off a chain reaction, they all screw up, or there's a strategic attack on a dozen power plant cities that all happen, and then that completely takes off the grid.
Mm. Wow.
What do you think's more likely?
Hard to tell. Really hard to tell.
I'm
that
just...
theory is obviously a conspiracy theory. So who's supposed to do that? Is that like the black hats, or who's supposed to do that?
Who's left in the Dutch East Indies Company that you can look at, because it would have been probably in the early 1600s. And you can think of some of these Spanish Germans and Spanish Dutch that were Catholic and not associated with the Arabic trade union, were upset by the 80 to 100-year war. There's going to be specific people involved with that, and maybe the House of Orange. I mean, but it seems like some of the families that are very powerful today got their start at the end of Tartaria, right?
I just have a sideways question for the both of you. Do we actually have a consensus on whether volcanoes ultimately are a completely natural phenomenon or something that's human induced? Because just you spoke about nuclear reactors, and I was just thinking, like, volcano looks like a bad reactor accident.
There are people that do videos on that, and I'd like to get Brittany to do a video on volcanoes again, talking about this. We have looked at the Oklo reactor, the 2 billion year old natural reactor, and they say only known, but I found probably 6 other examples now of similar reactors, of natural volcanic reactors. So I don't think that they're fully natural. I think we're just calling them natural because it's psychologically difficult to imagine people doing stuff, especially in Africa, because scientists are racist. But who's the guy? And I'm not saying I watch all of his videos or anything, but Mike Ferrari, right? Ferreira. He does some interesting research. Volcano. I don't know if I can find, if I'm spelling it right. There's got to be an I in there or something like that. Minor Earth with Mike Ferreira, and there's some things he doesn't know, but that also he didn't start knowing about volcanoes, right? So he just started doing research into volcanoes, and he's found some interesting coincidences about, let me see if I can, about the materials, molten salts, the way machines work today that are basically emulating what volcanoes do. So I mean, from there you could extrapolate a bunch about how volcanoes were built. I like to go the route of looking at the Islamic alchemy, because Islamic alchemy is all about getting if I could find getting the natural powers of the earth together to compress these energies, these gases, these minerals, and then from there you can produce some sort of a new element, right? And this is what all the alchemists were trying to do, was to use the natural earth fumes. So those are volcanoes for the most part. They're doing, and they always talk, all the lore is that they're up in the mountains working from them. But yeah, I don't know if I'd say that volcanoes were all man-made. That's the thing. That's the idea that giants were building these giant quarries and that these are chemical waste piles or something like that. I still think that volcanoes can be naturally produced. But yeah, definitely that humans have been using them for thousands of years for all sorts of reasons, for energy production, for getting new materials, ores, right?
Do you know that movie, There Is No Forests on Earth?
Oh, right, yeah.
It's originally from Russia, and he basically says that that Earth is nothing but a quarry, and the volcanoes are the waste pile. Exactly, yeah. No forests on flat Earth. Perfect. Super movie.
Yeah, the no forest silicon trees idea is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I think that there's a lot to be said about silicon trees. What do you think about? Do you think that they're trees? Do you think that maybe they were giant mushrooms excreting silica? Like, are they? What do you think they are?
I think they're trees. I absolutely think they're trees, especially because of the hexagonal shape of the fibers. Because there is volcanoes never ever produce hexagonal shapes. So all what they keep telling us, this basalt things that's from volcanoes, I think that's complete bull, because it's really only nature is creating hexagonal shapes, like salt crystals, snowflakes. The bees make the hexagons. So I think these are trees, and it even ties in with the Germanic mythology, where you have the world oak, right, and all the different kind of trees that must have been huge. And actually, this about 100 kilometers northwest of where I live, the Rhön, that is actually a mountain range, if you will. So I believe that the Rhön is actually made up of tree stumps. I need to bring some pictures next time, because there is one mountain, it's called the Geroldsberg, where you have these basalt hexagonal shapes, stone shapes there. And that's nothing else but a tree that actually is lying on the side. It's lying on its side, and you still see the branch structure there.
Am I spelling that right? Rhine or Rune? How am I spelling that?
Rhön, yeah, it's RH, the umlaut, OE. Take the U out, take the U out.
Oh, yeah.
Rhön.
There we go, that guy? Something like that?
Rhön, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Wait a minute, is that it? No, that's not it. Take the mountain range away and just do R and take the E out. The E, yeah, Rhön, Germany. There you go. And see that? See
Wow.
These pictures?
Yeah.
See that is tree stumps. That's all tree stumps.
Interesting. There be
and
giants.
Then try the Geroldsberg. Do we have a chat in here? I never used the chat in. Where is it? Down there, exactly. Geroldsberg. I write it to you real quick. No, chat. I hear type Geroldsberg. So I actually went up there.
Geroldsberg, Fitzgeraldsberg, again with the Norman parts of Germany.
Geroldsberg, and probably add basalt after that also. Basalt. Here you go. Yeah, column. Yeah, that should be it.
These guys here?
No, that's somewhere else.
Goderberg. Okay. Basalt. Did I spell basalt wrong?
Basalt. Yeah, I think you spelled it right. Basalt. With a BASALT.
Not coming up with pictures there.
Not coming up. Let me do a quick search real quick. Maybe I'm have the wrong name. Just Rhön basalt.
It would be
Basalt
spelled
Stein.
BA salt. BA salt, because you said
Yeah.
B, not BA.
Oh, VA. I did it, but it
Oh,
just
really?
still isn't coming up on the
Oh,
images.
okay.
It's a Gandalfsberg. I do that all the time. Gandalfsberg. Just a second. Gandalfsberg.
Yes.
Dude, like Gandalf, like
Gandalfsberg. Here you go.
in the Lord of the Rings, Gandalf.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Gandalfsberg.
It was in the auto search. Yeah, this one.
There we go.
So here you go.
Wow.
So look at that. Look at that.
Okay.
So I've actually been there. So this is a huge tree lying on its side, and you have the petrified fibers of the tree sticking out of the side of the mountain.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely tremendous. And I mean, there is no hexagonal shape formed by volcanoes. That is a living, that used to be a living thing. That used to be a huge tree. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's turned sideways. That's insane.
So when you
It's like
you come visit us, Andreas, we go there. That's 1 hour from my place.
well, it's epic. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this. I mean, it's basically looks like you know, a bundle of twigs, but they're
Exactly, yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're not. That's what they want you to believe. But they're not. That's crazy. Well, I mean, this has been pretty good. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to make sure that we show?
I think we covered a lot today.
It was pretty good. Energy.
It was super. Yes, it always is. It's always a great time being with you.
Martin, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to try to take people back to your YouTube or to the, I'll show them the Telegram. What should I show them? What do you think?
Telegram channel.
Yes.
The Telegram channel.
All right, let me jump to the Telegram and
Because I actually linked everything I did so far in that channel. So Raphael was a big inspiration to me to finally get it done. Because he kept asking me, do you have something? Do you have a blog? Do you have a website? You know, so finally.
Right. So you
Yeah,
guys
the
can get
link-
the link to this
Yes.
in the description. We'll put it in the video below. Sorry, say it again though, so it's in our mind. 777.
Exactly. It's at and then Tartaria without the first R. Tartaria and then 777.
Tataria. There you go.
Tartaria, exactly. I actually
good.
found a German dictionary from 1907, which actually talks about that Tartaria was purposefully changed because, you know, Tartar, American, you have tartar on your teeth, then you have Tartarus, which is the underworld. So they wanted to associate Tartaria with bad things.
Right.
And so they actually added this additional R. The French king was supposedly did that.
So I'll bring it up again because not everyone is fluent in European languages. Tata is father in Romanian.
Mm-hmm.
Tata. So then again, it would just be the fatherland potentially, you know. So
Right. Yeah, there's a whole thing. And then the idea of the Berbers and the Babas, and then R being the Persian hyphen or apostrophe letter. So you could even not pronounce the R's. That seems to be a thing that I see a lot with the Russian and Iranian text back and forth, is that they lose the R's like over and over again. So always fun to look at the rhymes. Rhymes seem to be etymological hints at what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and let me also tell you guys again, go to Act Like You Know and subscribe. Act Like You Know 26. Like, subscribe, click on the bell. Make sure you're getting all the new content from Raphael. Great interviews, sometimes in English, as well as German videos for those of you who would like to see this in your own language. And it's, I mean, honestly, even as a non-German speaker, granted, I'm a little narcissistic because it's about me, but I love watching this video. No, I mean, it just, no, honestly, though, your voices are so good. And I've sent this to several people who love to hear in German what they want to hear about. I mean, instead of just the things that they put on TV. So I think this is
exactly, we need good programming in German too. That's the entire.
I mean, it's huge. It's really exciting though, because all the Germans that are able to have this information, they're going to be making decisions and interacting with the rest of their society. And so everyone around the world that's able to join this conversation towards a better world, that's a huge huge positive change that we can make in our home countries. So thank you for doing that, guys. I really appreciate it.
Oh, definitely. Will not be
Thank
the
you.
last one we did.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And so, yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Take care. Good night, guys.
Hey, everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent Tartarians. Recent Tartarians. recent Tartarians.
Hey, everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent